Hello, I'm Michael Cadera. I'm with Intel's Open Source Technology Center, and I got my start at Intel in our data center group as well as our IT group, where I first started deploying OpenStack back in the Diablo days. That was 2011. And after that, we deployed our first hybrid cloud solution on Essex. And today, what I do is I work in our Open Source Technology Center directly with customers, enabling the Intel technologies best on various clouds. And so today, what I'd like to do is I'd like to talk a little bit more about the options available for hybrid cloud solutions and the choices that you can use to help guide you in where you're going to do your workload placement. You know, with the advancements that are going on today with cloud service providers and all the features that they're adding to their environments, as well as solutions like OpenStack that you can use for your private cloud, really having a solid hybrid cloud solution is really important so you can leverage the most out of each solution. Now, cloud solutions today are not driven any longer just by features and total cost of ownership. You know, with the demand of new devices being added to your environment and the amount of data that's coming, really having the scalability available for these solutions, and IT shops are now transforming from supporting the business to being a big part of the business and enabling those features. So a hybrid cloud strategy that really needs to take account for the technical, business, and ecosystem requirements are really important to drive that agility. You know, for example, there's other applications that might have legal or regulatory compliance issues like financial. That's a good example of some of the things that have different choices that you'll have to make in choosing where that application would best land. So what I want to do is I want to walk through a little bit of the technical requirements, and then I'll show you some of the things that our own IT department had done to help drive some efficiencies within our private cloud solution. So let's look at some of the most common app workload placements and considerations. So first, looking at it from a performance perspective. Now, within the public cloud, they're great for those applications that have unknown performance. Like, for example, if you don't know if it's going to scale if you need to scale rapidly, or if it's going to have intermittent growth. It's great to be able to burst those applications out to the cloud, or the public cloud. Now, in the private cloud, for those latency-sensitive applications, that makes a little bit more sense, where you need to be very close to those, the application close to your end users and where those are being executed. But you may also need full control of the underlying infrastructure if you need to do that real micro-tuning of your application. Security is always a thought, one of the top requirements for many people here too. But what do you do if you don't have the talent in your own house? Well, by leveraging some of the features and the capabilities that the external cloud service providers provide, you can really start to increase some of the security levels within your own application, and also speed up your deployment. When we deployed our first hybrid cloud solution, we included our cloud service providers early in our development of new applications as well, and we were able to shave off significant time in some of our pen testing. Now, if you have workloads that have high-risk data, or potentially some workloads that may have export restrictions, you'll want to have full control over where those are placed and controlling the IP of some of those applications as well. So that might lend itself for a private cloud solution. Integration. Of course, those workloads that have open APIs and have had loose coupling with other dependencies work great in the cloud. But if you have some of those legacy applications, or applications that don't use those open APIs, being able to have your own private cloud where you can actually get a little bit more life out of the investment that those IT shops have in those applications can really help. Now, with data size and the placement of data, you really need to consider where you do that and how you're going to be accessing that data to help reduce some costs with where you deploy. You know, really looking at the public cloud with those low to moderate data volumes, as well as maybe not the high frequency access, but also leveraging it for cold storage and backup solutions is great. Now, for those workloads that have that significant data volumes, or that that where the data has to be really close to the edge of the application. Having that in your private cloud can help you guide where you're placing your workloads. Now, the cloud strategy is just not one size fits all. You know, RightScale just recently had a report, the State of the Cloud report, where they had identified that 2/3 of all IT industries or all organizations are already deploying a hybrid cloud solution, and that's growing. 85% of these organizations are also using a multi-cloud strategy. So having that approach towards where your applications are going to be placed is really important, and that's where it starts. You know, those workloads matter, and let's take a look at some of these workload placements. So what we had done is we'd been working with a lot of industry experts and looking at the most common applications and the technical features for data size, back-end integration, security, and performance. And when you consolidate this information and start to look at how certain applications place, you begin to see some relatively decent guidance here. So with applications like, for example, software as a service, with those mature solutions that are available, they can work out great in a public cloud solution. You know, these can be those types of applications that you're not using to differentiate your business. Leverage them for what they are. They can really help reduce your overall costs. Now, if your data location is critical to your application, or you have those large data volumes, things like financial applications, those can tend to lend towards the private cloud solution. Now, when it comes to that hybrid model, this is where you might have some of those legacy applications. You might be able to extend new features and adding them to them. Leveraging a hybrid might work well with that, but really looking at that separation or that composition of data size, the integration, and security and performance all make sense. With our own IT shop, we had spent a lot of time working with our own private cloud and looking at how we can get more out of it. And over time, we'd actually started looking at how we can start improving the overall costs. What we're able to do is actually get a 2x cost savings. And by doing this, we approached it through a couple of key things. One is that we made sure the technology we implemented was mature and stable. And we aligned our vendors with those objectives as well. We also started, we moved to platform as a service and database as a service. We started looking at databases really as a commodity and choosing the top 10 databases that our application developers really needed, as well as the 4 top languages that they were landing on. And lastly, we included our developers in all of our planning and made the environment for them. This environment really wouldn't have been of value if we weren't implementing the features that they needed and consumed. We would have just had a fragmented environment where they would go off and do their own thing. But what we did is we provided those self-service portals and made sure that their development tools and everything all integrated into their overall solution. So, just kind of bringing this all together, of course, cloud technologies will accelerate the business. I think that's why we're all here. We do understand that. But in order to achieve the most out of a hybrid cloud, you really need to look at how that workload is best placed and the advantages that each can provide. You need to focus both on the infrastructure as well as that application transformation. And really that correct placement is going to be that balance of performance, security, integration, and data. So this is a lightning talk, so of course I can't get into all the details that went into the studies that we had done, but there is some additional information available for you. We have a video that goes a little bit deeper that's online, as well as an infographic that is online, has a lot more of the data that I had shared available for you. So if you have any questions, I am available on IRC and Twitter. And you can also stop by the Intel booth. I should be there on and off throughout the day tomorrow. Okay, thank you.